Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee just released recently, and so far the reception is overwhelmingly positive. Now this doesn't mean that the games are perfect, however, as people were very skeptical about these Pokemon games leading up to the release days. Let's Go is far different than any other main series Pokemon game we've had, and despite it being labeled as a main series game, it does seem a little bit off. In this video, we'll be discussing some of the cons of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and in a future video we'll be discussing the positives of these games. I want to make it clear that this video is not me just bashing the game saying they are bad. I just want to make one video about each of its positives and another video about each of its negatives, before doing my full review of the game, which should be out sometime this month. Since this topic is rather subjective as well, some of the things I see as a negative, others might not see as a negative, and vice versa. Every game has their positives and negatives, and Pokemon is no exception. I'll try to be as unbiased as possible in these videos, but considering that my channel is completely based on Pokemon, and that I play Pokemon pretty much every day, take that with a grain of salt. If you guys want to support the channel, make sure you click that like button as it really does help the channel grow, and subscribe with post notifications turned on so you don't miss a future upload. Also, let me know in the comments down below which version you got, Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, and what your favorite and least favorite thing about those games are. One thing that stands out the most to me about Let's Go is the lack of breeding. Breeding is a huge part of Pokemon, especially in Generation 2 where it was introduced, and seeing its absence is very strange to me. I understand that the original Generation 1 games didn't have breeding at all, but I still find the removal of this feature so bizarre, as it is a staple amongst main series Pokemon games, which Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are according to the creators. The lack of breeding removes a whole method of shiny hunting, as you can't Masuda method breed to hunt shinies anymore, and it gets rid of egg moves, which were a pivotal part of creating a competitive Pokemon team for battling online with. I feel like out of all the little things to get removed, this makes the least sense to remove, and that's sort of the theme of this video and the inspiration. There aren't really any big major elements of previous Pokemon games that Let's Go is missing, but there's so many small missing features that make me scratch my head as to why they were removed in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Let's Go also removed held items and abilities. Held items were another big part of battling, as a simple held item could really change a lot about how a Pokemon was used. This also means that you can't give Pokemon berries to help you progress through the games as well as give Pokemon the items needed for certain trait evolutions. Luckily, none of the Pokemon in the game require held items to evolve, as this game only includes the original 151 plus the Melton line, but it's still a key feature that didn't need to be removed in my opinion. The same goes for abilities as well, as there are Pokemon that are only good or only considered bad due to their ability. Pokemon Go has a similar problem with Pokemon like Shedinja and Slaking not having their abilities, making them behave very differently than how they're originally intended in their original games that they came out in. Their abilities played a huge role in shaping their identity of Pokemon, and without it, they act like a totally different Pokemon. And this leads me to one of the biggest omissions these games have compared to other main series Pokemon games, and that is the lack of every Generation 2 through 7 Pokemon. This one is a big bummer in my opinion, as these games exclude a vast majority of Pokemon we have today. I can understand limiting the Kanto region just the original 151 to recreate Kanto in 2018, kind of like what they did with 5th generation in Black and White with Unova, only having Unova native Pokemon at the start of the game until you beat the Elite Four. But why not have newer Pokemon obtainable post-game, as well as some post-game areas that include newer Pokemon, just like Black and White had? Fire Red and Leaf Green did this as well with the Sevi Islands to obtain many Generation 2 Pokemon, so why not do something like that here? This would give people more Pokemon to shiny hunt, which in turn will increase the playability of this game, as whether you like it or not, shiny hunting is a huge part of why Pokemon is played every day, even after the story mode. The lack of a post-game area in general as well is also quite a bummer, as most Pokemon games have some sort of area you can explore after the Elite Four in order to catch some Pokemon exclusive to that area, as well as having some sort of battle tower or other challenge area. I think this would fit in great in Let's Go, especially since the Battle Frontier from Emerald version is technically considered to be in the Kanto region according to the anime, so having some sort of Battle Frontier would make sense. All the other remake Pokemon games included something like this as well, and a Battle Frontier area would have fit so nicely in Let's Go, especially since the Battle Frontier was strangely omitted from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and then they teased us by saying it was under construction, but we never saw that come to fruition. When it comes to online functionality of Let's Go, it seems like it was more of an afterthought as well, if anything. You can still trade with your friends using this weird Pokemon-based password code system, which to be fair does actually work kinda nicely. However, the lack of a friends list makes it very possible to match up with the wrong person by accident, as every single person in the world that wants to trade or battle Pokemon has to use a code consisting of the same core Pokemon. A friends list feature would have made this process a lot simpler, just like how the online features worked in the 6th generation of Pokemon games. This whole system feels like yet another step backwards, even from the dreaded Festival Plaza of Generation 7, especially since there's no options to battle or trade with a random opponent like previous Pokemon games have had in the past. The GTS has existed in Pokemon since Generation 4, and it was amazing. It really helped people track down Pokemon that were hard to obtain, or version exclusive Pokemon as well, and the omission of the GTS in Let's Go is super unfortunate, as well as the omission of the beloved Wonder Trade system, which was introduced in Generation 6. Wonder Trades have always been super fun, and they play a big part in the community today. Being able to trade a Pokemon and receive any random Pokemon back was really exciting, and it almost acted like a free loot box system for Pokemon, as you had a chance of getting a very rare or shiny Pokemon, or you get a Pokemon that was really common and easy to find that you probably had 100 of already. The online features of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee also missed the mark when it comes to battling, as there's no option to battle against random opponents like I mentioned earlier, as well as no online ladder system as we've seen in previous games. I understand that VGC is skipping this game for their 2019 season, and they're sticking with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon, but why not include a proper leaderboard for the online ladder at the very least? Even if these games aren't seen as competitive or recognized by VGC, that doesn't mean people won't play them and enjoy them online. Adding a leaderboard will make players want to improve to a higher rank, and with that one, people might not want to spend their time battling in Let's Go, which is a huge part of Pokemon. Another strange change Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee made was the changes to the Eevee system mechanics. Eevees have always been a little bit confusing in previous Pokemon titles, and although they have gotten a little bit simpler as time goes on in recent generation, thanks to things like Super Training, which was introduced in Generation 6, they were still hard to accurately track in-game, despite being so important in competitive Pokemon battling. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee completely omits the old Eevee system in favor of a new candy-based system, almost like how it works in Pokemon Go. IVs still remain the same luckily as they've always been, however without the ability to breed, you have to go about getting the perfect IVs or the IVs you want in some other method, as breeding was arguably the best way to guarantee perfect IVs, and it was pretty simple in the last 2 generations. Instead of EV training, you give your Pokemon various candies such as the Quick Candy, which raises their speed, as well as other candies based on different stats. This system is a lot simpler and a lot more straightforward. However, it isn't nearly as balanced as the old EV system was, where you invest 252 in one stat, 252 in one stat maximum, and you have 4 remaining. You could also distribute those EVs in different ways, as you didn't have to distribute max EVs if you didn't want to, which led to a lot of creativity to Pokemon, which is why I was a big fan of the EV system, although it was a little bit confusing for newer players. This new system heavily favors bulkier Pokemon like Snorlax, and combined with this only 20-minute timer, a lot of games can go to time, which isn't very fun. The 20-minute timer is also another really weird thing that they have in this game in my opinion, as I really don't understand why they would limit it this much. 20 minutes does not seem very long at all, and I really wish we could see that be a little bit longer, so battles don't go to time every single time. And these are some of the cons of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I just want to reiterate that this video is not intended to be me just bashing the game randomly, as whenever I make a video like this, people tend to just read the title and then leave a hate comment. In a future video, we will look at the pros of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee to potentially see if they outweigh all of the cons that we have mentioned in this video before doing a more proper review of these games like I mentioned earlier. I'm currently having a ton of fun with these games if I'm being honest, although I haven't even beaten them just yet. Currently, I am only about halfway through the game, as I just beat Erica and I'm messing around in Saffron City right now. I'm trying to take it slow so I can experience everything, and most of my journey is being live streamed to Twitch as well, and if you want to see me stream the game live on Twitch, make sure you follow me over there, which will be linked in the description. So what do you guys think is the biggest con of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about these games. Also make sure you click that like button, as it really does help the channel a ton, and subscribe with post notifications turned on so you don't miss any future uploads. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys next time, and bye-bye.